Hi, it's me, Haley again. So, a chance encounter at an audition meant that I reconnected with Eric, and after he explained that his relationship with Claire was fake, we got back together. Things were going great, but then some mean, fake rumors about me started, and my anti-fan base began to grow. It was okay though because I had Eric, and being with him made me feel like the luckiest girl in the world. He went out of his way to cheer me up by surprising me with cute gifts and cooking for me. It was hard keeping our relationship a secret. I really wanted to go public with him so we could be seen together like a normal couple. For our anniversary, Eric called me up and told me that he had a surprise for me. He told me to dress up and come outside as he was waiting for me. I asked him where he was taking me, but he just laughed and said, "Babe, just come down quickly and I'll let you know." I got ready and rushed out to his car. There he was, dressed all smartly and looking so cute. He smiled at me and said, "I wanted to take you out, so I've booked a private cinema room for us. It's out of the city center, so we won't be spotted." I hugged him in excitement. I hadn't gone to the cinema since forever. And with Eric? Yay! This would be really awesome. I know. I had the sweetest, most romantic boyfriend ever. However, it wasn't long before my bubble burst. We arrived at the cinema to paparazzi everywhere. How could this be? On seeing our car, they immediately turned their cameras to us and went into a flashing frenzy. We had no choice but to cancel the date and go back home. Such a bummer. And that was scary too. How had they found out about our plan? Back at my place, we ordered pizza and watched a romantic movie. As good as it was spending time with Eric, I couldn't shake my sadness away. On sensing my mood, he patted my head and comforted me that everything would be okay, and we could date out next time. The next day, when I woke up and surfed Twitter, as expected, the news about me and Eric's relationship was everywhere. I was made to be the villain who'd gotten in the way of Eric and Clara's dreamy love story. I scanned over some of the negative comments about me. One said, "Poor Haley, beautiful voice, but a vile boyfriend thief." And another said, "Is Eric blind? Clara's so much prettier than her. I guess he must like mean girls." The whole thing sucked, and I felt dreadful. I wasn't a boyfriend stealer, nor was I a rude or horrible person. Worse still, some comments made out I was two-timing Phil with Eric. Ugh! Phil and I were just friends. Now I was famous, my private life wasn't so private anymore. The world felt like they owned me and could therefore say whatever hurtful and untrue things they wanted to. It seemed the truth didn't matter, not when lies made stories. Luckily, my loyal fans were still by my side to protect and comfort me. "Haley, I'll always believe you. Haley, don't worry. We will always love you." And so on. These messages were so sweet, and they supported me a lot. Right, I just needed to focus on working and composing songs for my next album. My talent and effort would be the best comeback to all the haters. Indeed, after a few weeks, everything settled down. However, it wasn't long before another storm came. One night, I was at a party to celebrate the new product launch of the cosmetic brand I represent. Of course, there were a bunch of celebs and paparazzi at the party. Even Eric attended. Because of the recent rumors, we just smiled and then chatted with other guests. I also saw Clara. She was talking to Jane, Dean's wife. On seeing me, Clara just smirked and looked away. But whatever, she could be that way if she wanted. While I was talking to the brand representative, I saw Jane coming over to me with a glass of wine in her hand. I thought she wanted to say hi to me or something, so I turned and smiled at her. But then I realized that she looked quite angry. She pulled out a photo and yelled at me. "Say it! What happened between you and my husband?" Confused, I looked at the photo. Oh no, it was the one where Dean was zipping up my dress at the mini show. It was completely innocent. but the picture made us both look so guilty. Who gave you this pic? It's not what you think. He just helped me. Without letting me finish my sentence, she shouted angrily. How dare you seduce my husband? Aren't you in a relationship with Eric? Or Phil or something? It seems that you dare to do everything to be famous, right? I tried explaining it to her, but she was too angry to listen. I asked her to go somewhere else more private to talk, as there were many people here, but this made her more furious, and she yelled at me that I was the third wheel who stole her husband. We immediately caught the attention of everyone at the party. They gathered around us and kept pointing at us and whispering. She glared at me as she said, "It's time girls like you were taught a lesson." I saw that she was about to splash her wine over me, so I quickly covered my face with my hands. But at that point, someone appeared in front of me. I looked up and saw Eric with a wine-soaked face. Oh no! I was confused and didn't know what to do next. This was out of control. Then Clara appeared, grabbed Jane's hand, and told her to calm down and think about how this would affect Dean's career. They both left after that. I grabbed a napkin and tried to wipe Eric's face, but he shrugged me away and told me to go home before things worsened. I hesitated a bit, but I knew he was right. This night was a disaster. Feeling so confused and upset, I went to the studio instead of coming back home. It was late, so there was no one there. I curled up on the couch and thought about things. The entertainment industry was so harsh. I just gained a bit of popularity, but a series of false scandals had already come up. After a while, I decided to text Eric. I felt really guilty about what had happened tonight and wanted to say sorry to him, but there was no reply. Maybe he was busy or something, I thought. I decided to wait for him to call me back. I must have fallen asleep as I woke up to Phil's voice.
Haley? What are you doing here? Are you okay? You didn't answer my calls.
I looked at my phone and saw dozens of missed calls and texts from Dean and Phil, but none from Eric. Then Dean also arrived and asked me to tell him everything that had happened last night. Afterward, he said that he'd talk to Jane and explain what really happened. And of course, the scandal had made the headlines. However, Dean told me not to worry and that he would find out who took that photo and make everything clear. Then, Dean's phone rang. It was the cosmetic brand from last night. Apparently, my scandals negatively had affected their brand image, and customers were threatening to boycott their products, so they were canceling all association with me and were demanding compensation. Whoa, I didn't expect things to have grown this bad, this quickly. So I searched social media and saw that the hashtag about me, Haley the Third Wheel, was trending at #1, along with loads of negative comments branding me a man-stealer and saying that they'd never listen to my music again. My world collapsed. I felt like I would never prove myself innocent. The cosmetic brand was the first of many. Next, TV shows, concerts, and magazines all phoned in canceling. I felt like I was going crazy. The whole world seemed to be turning its back on me. Daystar fell into a crisis, to say the least. However, Dean and Phil still remained on my side and said that they would make everything clear and prove me innocent. The following days, I locked myself in my room and didn't want to meet anyone. While I was lying on my bed, the phone rang, and thinking that it was Eric, I immediately answered it. Turns out, it was the manager of another entertainment company. He said,
"Move to my company. I'm sure that I can make you more famous if you become my little lover."
OMG! I couldn't believe it. I hung up angrily without saying anything. How rude he was! I burst into tears. Everything was completely beyond my stamina. My friends and family constantly called and texted me to check if I was okay. They were really kind, But I still felt sad and lonely, as there was still no news from Eric. I'd not heard as much as a word from him since the party, even though I'd texted and called him hundreds of times. It was just like 3 years ago when I was in trouble. He was nowhere to be found. The sad memories of the past few years seemed to come to life again. Had Kurt been right all along? Had Eric come back to me just for fame, not for love? So now, when my scandals were everywhere, he immediately disappeared in order not to be involved. I didn't want to believe it, but how could I think otherwise? Anna and Kurt were in a different state, but they still rushed to LA to take care of me. Meanwhile, my so-called boyfriend who lived in the same city as me couldn't be any less bothered. I was so grateful to have Anna and Kurt there, so I told them everything that had happened between me and Eric. Anna was furious and said that Eric was just a psychopath who wanted to take advantage of my love. I sighed. Was she right? Did he just want to play with my feelings? Whatever. All of this had been too much for me. I just wanted to throw it all away and catch a break from this dramatic life, now that my friends were all here. Some days later, one night, when Anna and I were watching a film together, the phone rang. Someone said that Kurt was hospitalized because he got in a fight or something. Anna and I immediately rushed to the hospital, which was swarming with paparazzi. Huh? What was this about? Why were they here? I didn't know what was going on, but that surely couldn't be a good sign.